Hello, and welcome to the Erie County District Attorney's Office weekly YouTube video presentations. I am Erie County District Attorney John Flynn, and as our viewers out there know, I tend to do these weekly YouTube videos to kind of give the community and the viewers out there a sense of what's going on in the criminal justice system, not only here in Erie County, but across the state and sometimes across the nation. Speaking of across the state, what we're going to talk about today is the recent passage of the New York State budget. And in that New York State budget, two items or kind of general things that were part of the budget that are going to affect, I believe, in a positive fashion, public safety. The first is bail. As everyone knows out there, there has been a lot of controversy since the creation of the bail reform statutes that took effect on January 1st of 2020. Right about this time, 4 years ago, during the budget process in 2019, New York State enacted some pretty substantial, some would call, quite frankly, radical changes to the bail laws. Those were passed by the New York State Legislature and ultimately signed by the Governor Cuomo, at that time. These changes that were made in April 2019, taking effect on January 1st of 2020, dramatically altered the bail structure in New York State. And for the past 4 years, there have been some changes to these bail statutes. Matter of fact, I think in every year in 2020, 2021, and 2022, there were tweaks made to the bail law that was created back in 2019. And that was the same this year. Governor Hochul, to her credit, held out for some bail reform. And she had to do it against the will, quite frankly, of the New York State Legislature and their leaders, which are, quite frankly, are dominated by New York City and their interest. And the bottom line is that the leaders of the legislature, mainly from New York City, are resistant to any changes to the bail statute. They believe that any changes to the statute that they created, with basically the input from the criminal defense bar, the legal aid associations throughout the state, and other advocates, leaving out, quite frankly, prosecutors and law enforcement. They believe that any changes to these bail statutes are a rollback, are somehow in their mind a defeat of what they wanted to accomplish and, quite frankly, did accomplish back in 2019. I respectfully disagree with that. As everyone knows, I was in favor of a lot of the changes that were made for bail, but I believed they went too far. And the change now that was made by the governor, quite frankly, I get it that the ledge passed it, all right, but it was a governor who pushed this and a governor who made this happen. The elimination of the standard that judges had to abide by of least restrictive measures. So think about this. You're a judge, you're sitting in court, the defendant is in front of you, and you have to say to yourself, all right, what's the least restrictive measure that I can think of to make sure he comes back to court or she comes back to court? How that played out for the past 4 years in practice is that judges either let the individual go or set a lower amount of bail, which allowed the individual to get out easier on a lower dollar amount. That's practically what's been going on for the past 4 years. And what's also practically going on over the past 4 years is that crime has skyrocketed in New York State. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's because of that wholly, and that's the only reason why. I do think that COVID had a role in it as well, but I do think that it's clearly a factor. And so now that the judge can take out the least restrictive measure in their mind and in the standard, now the legal standard, that gives them the ability now, in my opinion, to hold them either on higher bail or to remand them outright. And again, we're only talking about the most serious offenses. All the misdemeanors, all the low-level nonviolent felonies, those are still not qualifying offense. This has nothing to do with that. None of those people are going to be in pretrial confinement. So don't listen to the other side here and the advocates and the legal aid societies, all right, who say that this is going to put everyone in jail, because that's not true. Everyone charged with a misdemeanor and a low-level nonviolent felony is still going to be out because a judge can't put a bail on that individual. This only applies to the serious violent felonies, who, quite frankly, 9 out of 10 times deserve to be incarcerated because they are a flight risk. And they are, in my opinion, and a lot of DA's opinions, a danger to society, even though that's not a standard yet, but we'll get there someday. Real quickly here, the second thing that the governor did, and I'll get the Ledge credit for this one right here, okay? The Ledge, to their credit too, gave us money. They gave the prosecutors and law enforcement money in a number of different grants and formats to help us do our job. And for that, I thank them sincerely. See you next week.